She can take a road she's never known.
It's almost time to rally in the valley. But first, it's the Matsu Miners pregame show, brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Good evening. We are live at Herman Brothers Field in the Matsu Valley in Palmer, Alaska for Matsu Miners baseball on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Good evening, everybody. I'm Austin Pollock. Emma Tiedemann is to my right, as always. Just a beautiful night for baseball here in Palmer. Not so much last night, as this will wrap up the preseason series between the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks and the Matsu Miners. Yesterday's game was scheduled to be played at Loretta French Field in Chugiak, but pretty much just morning on. It was questionable, and finally at around, I would say, 4:30?
Yeah.
Maybe around 4:30 Alaska time, the game was called. We were actually on our way down to Chugiak, hoping to get that game in, but not the case. But the two teams are ready to go here tonight. This will wrap up the 4-game preseason series, and these two teams will take on other opponents and then be back at it on Monday night, June 16th at 7 o'clock at home against the same Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks. Tonight's game is sponsored by the Matanuska Electric Association. Is pretty much everyone around the park getting these blue sunglasses. Kind of cool.
They do have UV eye protection.
They have UV eye protection. We both got a pair.
Oh yes.
So excited to wear those. So the Matsu Miners pregame show brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Tonight there's not really much to talk about because last night there was no game, but
right.
It is John Farindelli, the right-hander from Chandler Gilbert Community College in Arizona. He gets the ball tonight for the Miners. The lineup pretty much about the same for what it's been the last 2 days. One big, I wouldn't even call it a big change, but one change, and that is Terrence Connolly, the infielder from UNC Wilmington. He plays second base tonight. Nick Senzel, the infielder from the University of Tennessee, will be on the bench. He's the designated hitter, so he'll still be in the lineup, but not in the field. He actually was named the freshman All-American at the designated hitter position. So we'll get you the starting lineup first for the Chugiak Chinooks. It is Stephen Pollock. I'll tell you, we'll start off and we'll say this lineup's pretty much the same, and gotta wonder why it wasn't switched up that much, just because. I mean, it was just hit after hit after hit with the Miners on Monday night, and then on Sunday at Chugiak, kind of the same thing, but in that ninth inning, a 5-run ninth, but a 10-7 win for the Miners on Monday night here against the Chinooks, and here is the lineup. Stephen Pollock leads it off in center field. James Navant, the right fielder from Notre Dame, bats second. Brett Collins bats third. He's in left field. Kyle Conkle is in the cleanup spot, the designated hitter. Third baseman is Billy Arndt. He bats fifth. Jackson Kramer bats sixth. He's at first base. Jeff Murphy does the catching tonight. He bats seventh. Griffith Rourke is at second base, batting eighth. And Josh Altman rounds out the lineup for the Chinooks. He bats ninth. He is playing shortstop. And on the mound is Kyle McDormand. Kyle McDormand is the right-hander from Charleston Southern University, just finished his junior year over there. He will be on the mound for the Chinooks. And here is the lineup. Emma will give you the lineup for the Matsu Miners.
Leading things off, same as last night, Cameron Frost playing center field. Dane Wunderlich right after him playing right field this evening. Nick Senzel in the third spot. He's the designated hitter, as we talked about earlier. Hunter Simmons batting cleanup, also playing first base. Simmons had a great game 2 nights ago. Brandon Smith batting fifth, playing left field. Jordan Rogers at third base tonight in the sixth position. Terrence Conley at second base. And Mitchell now batting eighth, batting catcher. He was not in the lineup on Monday. And Paul Panachone playing shortstop, batting ninth for the Miners. And on the mound is John Farindelli out of Chandler Gilbert Community College.
Yeah, that one's a mouthful though.
It is.
It is. As we mentioned, Matanuska Electric Association. It's Kids Day at the ballpark. I see a lot of kids, but it is early. It is about 6:50 Alaska time, and the pregame ceremony is about to begin on the field. As soon as that starts, we will take you inside Herman Brothers Field to public address announcer Wolfgang Winter for that. But the sun is shining bright. A couple of clouds, dark clouds, but really they're just right in front of blue skies, and you can't expect any rain. It's about 55 degrees. And the Chinooks are gathered around right behind the third base bag. You can't see them on your screen, but they're getting ready for this game. They would like to end this losing streak. They're 0-2, and in the North, the National League, the Miners are 2-0. The Glacier Pilots in Anchorage, they're 2-1, and the Chinooks are in third, 0-2. And in the American League, the Oilers from Kenai, they're 2-1. The Anchorage Bucks are 2-2. And the Alaska Gold Panthers of Fairbanks, they are last in the American League at 0-1. As there you see manager Ben Taylor talking it over with the two umpires. And we are just about ready for the pregame ceremonies. The managers are exchanging lineup cards at home plate. For the Chinooks, it is Chris Beck. He is the acting manager right now. Also the general manager and pitching coach. He is taking care of that right now.
Has many hats with the Chinooks.
Yes, he does. And kind of got to give him a little bit of a break. The team's 0-2, but things not really all there with them right now. So the Miners getting ready for this, and let's talk a little bit about John Farindelli. Now, we talked about him briefly, a little bit. We talked about him, we haven't really talked about him much, actually. And something that we pointed out was he arrived, I believe it was Saturday. I think it was June 7th, or it was Friday the 6th.
I think it was Saturday.
It was Friday.
Bed races.
That was Friday afternoon because the parade was on Saturday. So he arrived on Friday. And what had happened is he was picked up at the airport and brought directly to the bed race.
Which, if you don't know what a bed race is, it is a tradition in Palmer during colony days, which is whenever Palmer and the Valley was colonized, is what I gathered from the whole event. But bed races, it's literally what it sounds. They have a bed put on wheels, and they race it down a street in Palmer, in downtown Palmer. But there's 3 different stations. You have to do a different thing at each station. Like
we worked those stations.
We did. Our station was the person on the bed had to jump off while the people pushing the bed skipped around the bed, and you had to pour 2 cups of water and put them on saucers, and then you continued on. So John Farindelli walks into this to see, hundreds of people, and our general manager Pete Christopher being pushed on a bed by the coaches. It was just a really kind of weird situation, and his eyes were a little big, kind of a little bit of a shock walking into that. A little
bit like, all right, I'm here for 2 months, and what's going on? But since then, we've gotten to know him. We've talked to him a lot. He's a great guy, and I'm very excited to watch him pitch tonight. He had great numbers for Chandler Gilbert. I mean, I was quite impressed when I saw his numbers. He was 7-2 with a 1.38 earned run average. He started 12 games. 4 of those were complete games. This guy can throw. He can go 9 innings, but as Ben Taylor said just a couple days ago, not really in the plan right now. It's just to get these guys some action, and that's 3 innings, 60 pitches. So you can't expect Farindelli to really go more than that 3-inning or 60-pitch mark. I guess kind of whatever comes first. But, he had 91 innings, and he had 100 strikeouts in those 91 innings and 14 earned runs. So he is actually a lot of talent in that arm, and you got to talk. You also have to talk about the bats for the Miners. I mean, Jordan Rogers, he was our player of the game on Monday. 2 for 3, scored 2 runs, and another one we could have considered, that was Brandon Smith. He was 3 for 5 and scored 2 runs. But really, it just seems like these first 2 nights, we'll see what happens tonight, but it seems like there's always somebody else coming in and just having an impact, as we're going to take you live inside Herman Brothers Field. Public address announcer Wolfgang Winter.
And now, here's the starting lineup for your Matsu Miners. In the leadoff spot out of Washington State, center fielder number 22, Cameron Frost. Batting second, number 9, right fielder out of Rice, Dane Wunderlich. Out of Tennessee and batting third, number 13, the DH, Nick Senzel. In the cleanup spot out of Utah, first baseman number 20, Hunter Simmons. Playing left field and batting fifth, number 25 out of Grand Canyon, Brandon Smith. Out of Tennessee, batting sixth, number 7, third baseman, Jordan Rogers. Batting seventh, number 26, second baseman out of UNC Wilmington, Terrence Conley. Catching and batting eighth, number 30 out of Texas A&M, Mitchell Now. And batting ninth out of Grand Canyon, shortstop number 3, Paul Panachone. On the mound this evening for the Miners out of Chandler Dillard Community College, number 18, John Farindelli. And please welcome the coaches of the Miners, head coach Mr. Ben Taylor, pitching coach Mr. Brad Baker, and the assistants Mr. Bobby Renard and Mr. Sean Winston. At this time, we'd like to honor America and all those serving to preserve our freedom. Making her way to the mound, the admin assistant at MEA, Serenity Zander, will be performing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Serenity Zander. Very nice, thank you. And although I was mistaken, she did not make her way all the way up the mound. Now making her way up the mound is Ellie Taunton.
With championships in 2004, 2007, 2009, and 2010, the Miners are looking to bring a title back to the Matsu Valley.
This is the longest championship drought in 10 seasons.
8 former Miners selected in a 2014 MLB draft, and head coach Ben Taylor is back for another season of baseball in the Valley.
Here we go. Matsu Miners Baseball on the Miners Radio Network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Herman Brothers Field. I'm Emma Tiedemann alongside Austin Pollock for tonight's matchup, the last game of this 4-game series between the Matsu Miners and the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks. John Farindelli on the mound for the Miners tonight, along with McDormand of Chugiak. Farindelli getting a little loose on the mound. We about to get things started here in Palmer. And last night's game had to be canceled because of some rain in the area. It rained just about all day yesterday, and they finally called the game at 4:30. And so everyone had a nice day off. Everyone should be rested and see hopefully some good pitching between Farindelli and McDormand of the Chinooks. Chinooks having a kind of a rough time when it comes to hitting with the Miners. Miners had 14 hits in their last game on Monday, and they're just a very strong team. They beat the Chinooks 10-7. The game 2 of this series. And starting things off is the left-handed batter Stephen Pollux for the Chinooks. He's playing in center field tonight. He was also in the leadoff position 2 nights ago. First pitch by Farindelli is strike. Pollux has been leading the Chinooks off this entire series so far. Strike number 2 for Farindelli.
Steve Long is the home plate umpire tonight.
The 0-2 pitch. Swung on and got him swinging. Strikeout number 1 for Farindelli, and talked in the pregame about how strong he has been at Chandler Gilbert Community College with Ben Taylor there, also the associate head coach, and I mean, that shows it right there. First strikeout.
Yeah, he had 100 strikeouts for Chandler Gilbert. This guy is full of talent.
Brings up James Navant playing right field tonight. First pitch is a strike to Navant. A 1 pitch outside for ball 1. Mitchell now behind the plate catching for Farindelli. Another ball for Farindelli.
Farindelli doesn't walk a lot of guys. 26 walks in 91 innings.
And that one's in the strike zone. 2-2 count now. Navant looks back at Steve Long, the home plate umpire, kind of asking him what. Just double checking. Now full count for Farindelli.
Cameron Frost, the center fielder, shaded a couple steps toward right center. It's also a little bit shallow.
3-2 pitch. Swung on, fouled back towards the Miners dugout on the first base side.
The sun is shining right into the press box.
It's a beautiful day today.
Beautiful. Just much better than yesterday.
3-2 pitch. High for ball 4. Brett Collins now stepping up to the plate for the Chinooks.
Now batting left fielder number 14, Brett Collins.
Collins playing left field tonight. He played right field 2 nights ago. And was 1 for 5 in that game.
Scored a run and walked twice.
The left-handed batter. And Farindelli, first pitch hits him. I think Collins was able to turn his back and might have gotten him in the right shoulder.
Now batting the DH.
So that's a walk and a hit by pitch. 2 men on first and second now. After having a 3-pitch strikeout with Stephen Pollux leading the pack, Farindelli walking 2 batters in a row. Brings up Kyle Conkle in the cleanup position. He's the designated hitter tonight for the Chinooks. First pitch by Farindelli is inside for a strike.
Now, the good thing about Farindelli being on this roster is Ben Taylor knows him well. So he knows maybe what he struggled with at Chandler Gilbert last year. He knows what he can fix.
Next pitch is high for ball 1.
Conkle was 3 for 4 against the Miners on Monday. But definitely struggled in the game on Sunday. It was 0 for 4, and part of that 9-run inning in the ninth.
Swung on, fouled back towards the first base side. 1 ball, 2 strikes now for Conkle. Still scoreless in the top of the first. James Navant's on second base. Collins on first. Conkle down in the count, 1-2, with 1 out. Pitch outside and low for ball 2.
The Chinooks in the road blue jerseys with the red numbering and lettering, and the Miners in their home green ones with the yellow lettering and numbers.
2-2 pitch, swung on, chopper down the first base side. Conley dives for it, but it gets past him. And coming home is Navant, slides in, and now at home plate not able to catch the ball thrown in by Wunderlich. And that's already 1 run scored for the Chinooks. Collins makes it to second, and Conkle holds up at first.
Now batting, third baseman number 9, Billy Arndt.
Billy Arndt now at the plate, playing third base tonight. Arndt batted in the 6th position yesterday. Shows bunt, but takes it as a ball instead. 1 ball, no strikes for Arndt. Arndt was struck out twice on Monday against the Miners.
Also struggled in the field at second base.
The 1-0 pitch is a strike for Farindelli. Evens the count at 1.
Billy Arndt also struggled in the field on Sunday against the Miners back at Loretta French Field. He was playing second base. Now he's at third today, perhaps maybe a more comfortable position for him.
1-1 pitch by Farindelli is a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 1 out. Runners on first and second. Chinooks with an early lead, 1-0 over the Miners.
And Farindelli would love a ground ball right here, just a routine ground ball, get a double play, get out of the inning. Get that run back.
Pitch high and outside for ball 2. Two-two pitch. Looked a little outside for Steve Long. Full count now.
Yeah, it's that breaking ball from Farindelli. Just seems to miss a little bit, missing outside, missing high. Might want to stick to something with a little bit more velocity.
3-2 pitch, swung on, fouled back to first base side.
And that was right off the grounds crew shed, just to the right of the Miners' dugout. So fans do stand over there. Hopefully no one was hurt.
3-2 pitch, swung on and got him swinging for strike number 3. Strikeout number 2 for Farindelli this inning. So I guess if you can't get a double play, a strikeout's good too.
Yeah, I mean, the strikeout really does, especially when you have 2 guys on with 1 out. And now you've got 2 outs, you have a force at any base other than home. So really, if there's a ground ball to Jordan Rogers, he can either tag the runner, he can go to second, he can step on third. Hunter Simmons at first has played some excellent defense.
Jackson Kramer at the plate. Kramer playing at first tonight. Kramer was the designated hitter 2 nights ago. Had 3 singles and was struck out twice. It's a high fly ball. It's going foul, but Rogers is running back and is able. Oh, and he almost had it, but it just fell out of his glove. So that'll just be a strike. Gut hustle by Rogers. It was Rogers, Smith, and Panachone. All 3 ran for it. So they were there, but Rogers just couldn't keep it in his glove.
That's a very tough play. I mean, he had to go a long way. He really did. He tried to make the catch over his shoulder. It was almost, not quite, but making its way toward the Chinooks bullpen. maybe a better play for the left fielder, Brandon Smith.
The 1-1 pitch. Swung on, grounder up the third base side. Runners are going. Collins rounds thirds, heads for home, and Brandon Smith able to scoop it up and throw it into Rogers, covering third. But another run scored for the Chinooks, making it 2-0, still in the top of this first. Conkle advances to second base,
Now batting, catcher number
and
17,
Kramer
Murphy.
stays at first. So the Chinooks having some trouble in the past two games rather, with hitting, able to get on base and score 2 early runs. Brings up Jeff Murphy. Pitch outside, a little bit in the dirt for ball 1. Murphy playing behind the plate tonight as catcher. Murphy came into the game 2 nights ago as third baseman. Pitch high and outside for ball 2. And he also came in late in the game on Sunday as catcher, as the Miners catcher, Mitchell Now from Texas A&M, heads out to the mound to talk to Farindelli. Now was not in the lineup last night, or 2 nights ago, but started the first game as catcher.
Farindelli's thrown 18 pitches this inning, 15 for strikes and 13 for balls.
It's a 2-0 pitch, and that's a strike right down the middle for strike number 1. So I guess whatever Now told him worked for strike 1.
Well, Mitchell Now's a very, very smart catcher behind the plate. And he came up to us before the game. He says he wants to give a shout out to Leslie Norcott back
This
in.
one is a wild pitch, gets away behind him. So the runners advance to second and third. Sorry to interrupt.
Leslie Norcott back in New Caney, Texas.
Ball 4 for Farindelli. That is the third walk of the evening. Loads the bases.
Now batting, second baseman number 11, Griffith Rourke.
Griffith Rourke playing second base. The left-handed hitter now steps up. Rourke did not play 2 nights ago. Here's the first pitch. Strike 1. Rourke did play third base on Sunday night's game in the 9th position. Swung on down the shortstop, able to stop it as pan had shown. He's able to stop it with his glove but not pick it up in time. As all the runners advance and another run scores, Kyle Conkle makes it home. Jackson Kramer at third, Jeff Murphy at second, and Griffith Rourke with the single at first. Brings up Josh Altman in the 9th position, or 9th batting position. He's playing shortstop tonight. Miners have a little meeting out on the mound talking with their pitcher, John Farindelli. Top of the first. Chinooks lead the Miners 3-0. There are 2 outs. Forced out at every base. The bases are loaded. Farindelli's first pitch to Altman on the outside corner for strike 1. The 0-1 pitch. And that one's on the outside corner for strike 2.
Well, I think Farindelli wants to get out of this quickly. Just you don't want to bring it back to the top of the order with Stephen Pollux.
0-2 pitch by Farindelli. This time it's way outside for ball 1.
It's that breaking pitch. That one just got away. It doesn't seem to have much of a command on it right now. But his fastballs have been pretty good. They've just been right in there. He's got good command on the fastball, not so much the breaking ball.
Same thing outside for ball 2. Both outs have been strikeouts. Sure, that's what he's thinking right now.
Needs
2
one
balls,
more.
2 strikes, swung on for strike 3. To end the inning, John Farindelli with 3 strikeouts, 3 outs. Head into the bottom of the first. You are listening to Miners Radio Network. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Emma Tiedemann alongside Austin Pollock. The Miners are ready to take some swings at Kyle McDorman of the Chinooks. McDorman, a right-hander out of Charleston Southern University. He is 6 feet 5 inches tall. First pitch inside to Cameron Frost of the Miners for ball 1. McDorman pitched in 16 games and was charged with 1 loss. Frost swung on, fouled back for strike number 1. McDorman had a 6.45 earned run average at Charleston Southern. Cameron Frost starting things off for the Miners, playing center field again tonight. It's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, little short chopper. McDorman able to scoop it up. And Frost is safe at first. And we've talked about it a lot. Cameron Frost has some speed. He can run through the bases so quick on his feet. Mainly the reason he's playing center field. And he's able to beat the throw by McDorman. So the hit was rolled in between the third baseline and the pitcher's mound. And Frost is safe at first to start things off for the Miners.
Well, McDorman threw that on a bounce. And I think had that not have bounced, I think Frost might have been out. And it looks like he wants to go.
Dane Wunderlich now at the plate. He's playing right field tonight and had a triple in the first game of this series. and was our player of the game that first night. First pitch as a strike to Wunderlich, but Frost with a big lead off of first there, and is definitely thinking about going. McDormand keeps glancing over at him, making sure he doesn't go anywhere. The 0-1 pitch swung on. Short chopper to Altman at shortstop. Quick toss to Rourke at second base. And as Frost slides in, he is out at second. But Wunderlich able to get on base at first.
Now batting, your DH number 13, Nick Senzel.
Brings up designated hitter tonight, Nick Senzel, out of the University of Tennessee. Senzel's been playing at second base the past 2 games, but Terrence Connolly is taking up that position tonight, and that puts Senzel at designated hitter. Quick little check back to first. Wunderlich safe as he slides back in.
Frost has 1 stolen base on the season.
And I'm sure that number will rise quickly as the season goes on.
I would think so.
Second pitch outside for ball 1. Or first pitch, excuse me. Wunderlich again with a big lead off of first, similar to Frost. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on right down the first base line, but through the legs of first baseman Kramer. And Wunderlich is able to make it to third. Senzel holds up at first, and that's the first error of the night for the Chinooks. And we've seen quite a few errors from the Chinooks the past couple of games, and that's a rough one to start things off with. Literally through the legs of Jackson Kramer, the first baseman, and Navant had to come in and scoop it up to hold Wunderlich up at third. Wunderlich also another very quick player. He's able to make it to third, excuse me. And Senzel at first. Brings up Hunter Simmons, the first baseman. He is out of, not Tennessee, Utah. First pitch is high and very inside as Simmons has to raise his arms to get out of the way of the ball.
We talked to Hunter Simmons before the game, and although he's had a very patient bat, we were talking about his defense, and he just kept going on and on about how he just feels like he's playing catch in the backyard. Like, it just doesn't feel like he's actually, like he's just playing. It doesn't feel like he's playing in a game.
Pitch swung on right between third and first and second base. Rourke scoops it up. Quick toss to Kramer. And Simmons is out at first, but Wunderlich scores the first run of the game for the Miners. And Senzel makes it to second.
Now batting your left fielder, number 25, Brandon Smith.
Brandon Smith, now with his turn at the plate, he's playing in left field. He's played in left field so far every game this season, even though there have only been 3 games. Pitch swung on, fouled back, right behind this press box. And in case that foul ball dented your car or windshield, be sure to call Napa Auto Parts with locations in Palmer, Wasilla, and Big Lake. They can definitely help you out. So no balls, 1 strike, 1 out so far. Another ball high and inside for McDormand. Senzel at second, taking a few steps off the bag. McDormand glances back at him before throwing ball number 2 to Smith. Smith doing a great job playing out at left field the past few games. Has a lot of speed. And has a great arm too. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and another foul ball. It's time down the first base line behind the Miners dugout. Senzel with his foot on his second base. Brandon Smith is the tying run at home. The 2-2 pitch swung on for strike number 3 for Smith, and that's out number 3 for the Miners. That's the first strikeout for McDormand. And as we take a quick break, you are listening to the Miners Radio Network.
If you're a kid and you'd like to win a bike or have a chance to win a bike, go to the Merchandise Shack.
Welcome back to Palmer, Alaska. It's the Miners take to the field. They are down 3-1 from the Chinooks. And back to the top of the batting order. John Farindelli still on the mound for the Miners. Stephen Pollux at the plate. Pollux playing center field tonight was struck out in the first inning by Farindelli. Farindelli's first strikeout of the game. Farindelli had 3 strikeouts in the first inning. It's a 1-1 pitch. Swung on, fouled back. He had 3 strikeouts, but walked 2 and hit Brett Collins for a 3rd walk. Gave up 2 hits, but struck out 3. Another foul ball by Stephen Pollux of the Chinooks.
Yeah, Farindelli just at about 30 pitches. But as Ben Taylor said, 60 pitches or 3 innings.
It's a 1-2 pitch. Pollux was thinking about it. Check swing. But it's 2-2 count now. Pollux, the left-handed batter. Another foul ball. This time it goes down the third base line. That's strike number 3. Pollux looked a little inside, elected not to swing at it, but Steve Long, the home plate umpire. And that is strikeout number 4 for Farindelli.
Every out he's gotten, it's been by way of the K. You can't really complain about that.
Oh, definitely not. First pitch by James Navant of the Chinooks is swung on for a foul ball. Navant was walked in the first inning by Farindelli and scored a run. A 1 pitch, a little low and outside for ball 1. One pitch. Again, low and outside for ball 2. Again, having trouble with his control over that breaking ball. At times it's a strike.
That was a nasty pitch.
That was. 2 balls, 2 strikes now for Farindelli. 1 out. Top of the second. Chinooks still lead 3-1. 2-2 pitch. Little low for Steve Long. 3 balls, 2 strikes now.
Cameron Frost is shallow and nearly in right center field. There's a giant gap in left center.
Swung on straight to the shortstop, Panachone. Panachone not able to scoop it up in time. Just looks like it went off the the tip of his glove. And Navant is able to reach base. Panachone kind of jogged the ball to Farindelli to give it to him and patted on the shoulder, kind of saying, "Sorry about that."
Yeah, there was a play back in the first inning that hit to him and couldn't really field it cleanly. It was ruled a hit, but this one definitely an error. Just kind of a routine ground ball, just hit right in the heel of the glove.
Brings up Brett Collins of the Chinooks. He was hit by a pitch in the first and scored a run.
Hunter Rodriguez and Josh Meyer the minor, making their way to the bullpen.
Pitch high and outside for ball 2.
I don't know if we're going to see Hunter. He just threw 3 innings on Monday. And I think Ben Taylor and pitching coach Brad Baker want to get maybe some more people some opportunities.
Swung on down the third baseline. It stays fair. And Navant rounding the bases. He's going to stay at third. Collins slides into second. And that's a double for the Chinooks.
Now batting the DH number 24, Kyle Conkle.
So kind of a similar situation as the first inning. Farindelli strikes up the leadoff batter, but now 2 men are on. The same situation Kyle Conkle was in. Conkle had a single in the first and was able to steal second off of a wild pitch and eventually scored a run. Looking like he's going to bunt. Instead, Farindelli's pitch is in the dirt. It looked like it hit the dirt even before it crossed the plate.
Yeah, I think it did, but got to give a lot of credit to Mitchell now thus far. There's been some pitches from Farindelli in the dirt when he goes with that breaking ball and he can't really have much control on it. Mitchell now has done a great job to keep that from getting away.
Swung on, short fly ball to left field, and Brandon Smith makes a diving catch. And that's out number 2. But Navant of the Chinooks tags up third and heads to home for the first run of the inning. And Collins stays at first.
Now batting third baseman number 9, Billy Arndt.
And we're kind of talking about Brandon Smith earlier, and showed his speed and great hustle and great catch and concentration to dive and catch that fly ball. Billy Arndt now at the plate, right-handed batter, playing third base tonight, was struck out in the 5th inning by Farindelli.
That pitch right there could have been a strike.
That's why I paused. I was seeing if he was going to call it. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, top of the second. Runner on second. Here's the pitch. Swung on straight back up the center of the field. Frost scoops it up. And the runners will stay at first and third. Collins at third and Billy Arndt with a single at first. And the ball literally went up the center of the field over the pitcher's mound. And Farindelli was already through the motion of pitching and was back to his left and not just physically could not pick up that ball.
Well, Kramer singled it back in the first, and Farindelli, he's got to get out of this right here. He's got runners at the corners. This game already 4-1 Chinooks. The minors hitters are good, a lot of talent.
First pitch to Jackson Kramer is ace. Kramer playing first base tonight. He also stole a base off of a wild pitch in the first. And he had a single in the first inning. Swung on, fouled back Strike number 2. So no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on the corners.
With a big bat at the plate for the Chinooks right now, Farandel is just 1 strike away from getting out of what could definitely be a jam with runners on the corners.
The 0-2 pitch.
Looked like a good one.
So I guess it was outside.
Little outside. But it looked like a good breaking ball. You saw more control right there. I think he was trying to hit that outside corner.
So the 1-2 count. Kramer with a very open stance. Swung on. Farindelli hits his glove. The glove falls off, and he's able to make the throw at first for out number 3. So we finished the inning. 1 run scored. The Chinooks lead the Miners 4-1 as we head into the bottom of the 2nd inning. You are listening to Miners Radio Network.
Might get a gift from one of the MEA folks wandering around giving away gifts in their shirts.
Back here at Herman Brothers Field, leading things off at the bottom of the 2nd inning for the Miners was our player of the game 2 nights ago, Jordan Rogers. Rogers takes a pitch inside for ball 1. Rogers just had a great game 2 nights ago against the Chinooks. The 1-0 pitch. Strike number 1. Rogers scored 2 runs, had 3 hits, and was walked once. Little inside there for ball 2. Just a very consistent batter that night for the Miners.
Yeah, he seemed to kind of just be able to do it all.
2-1 pitch swung on. McDormand not able to grab it. Instead, it's scooped up by the third baseman, Arndt. And that's out number 1 for the Chinooks as Rogers is thrown out at first.
Grounded out to his counterpart at third.
So it brings up second baseman Terrence Conley. Conley out of UNC Wilmington. Left little open stance. First pitch fouled back. It looked off the catcher Murphy a little bit. And that's strike number 1. Conley was not in the lineup 2 nights ago.
Now he started on Sunday against the Chinooks and then did not play on Monday. And of course, nobody played yesterday.
Second pitch a little inside for ball 1.
Mitchell now waits on deck.
The 1-1 pitch. Swung on, chopper down the first base line. Dorman scoops it up. Quick toss to Kramer at first, and that's out number 2 for the Chinooks. So that's 2 batters in a row now that have hit real short balls that McDormand is able to get to, or the infield. It hasn't left the infield yet.
Mitchell now started on Sunday against Chugiak and then got Monday off.
And he's hit by the first pitch. Miners finally able to reach a base in the bottom of the second inning. Brings up Paul Panachone, the shortstop. Quick look over to Mitchell now by McDormand. First pitch in the dirt, wild pitch, and Mitchell now is able to safely reach second base. So it's 1 ball, no strikes for Paul Panachone of the Miners. 2 outs so far. And Mitchell now is at second base.
I see what you did there.
The 1-0 pitch. That's a strike for Paul.
Cameron Frost waits on deck. Got to see a little bit of his speed early on. Reached on an infield single.
Swung on, and it's a grounder to the short. And that's out number 3 with 1 Miner left on base. No runs scored, no hits. And the Miners still trail the Chinooks 4-1 as we head to the top of the third. You are listening to Miners Radio Network.
Back here at Herman Brothers Field in Palmer. New pitcher on for the Miners. It is the right-hander Josh Morris. First pitch to Jeff Murphy is a little high, ball 1. Josh Morris from Northwestern State just finished his freshman year, 6'4", 200 pounds. And the 1-0 is in there, called strike 1-1. Morris is a math major.
Wow.
We don't have much in common there.
Nope.
1-2 to Murphy. Popped up in the foul territory over by the bullpen. There is Hunter Simmons by the fence to make the catch, and he falls down but hangs on.
Wow.
More great defense from Hunter Simmons. He's fun to watch over there at first base.
And he got to that, what'd you call it, like rocks? I don't know.
It's
dirt.
gravel, maybe.
And he
It's
stumble.
It's dirt with a lot of rocks in there.
So great hustle by Simmons.
That brings up the second baseman, Griffith Rourke.
Number 11, Griffith Rourke.
Josh Morris was supposed to get the start yesterday against the Chinooks at Loretta French Park, but of course that game rained out. Count evens at 1-1. Sun's still shining quite bright right here in the press box. Almost approaching 8 o'clock Alaska time. 1-0 to Rourke is a little up and away. 1-1.
So that's why you're wearing the blue sunglasses.
I am wearing the blue sunglasses, courtesy of Matanuska Electric Association. 3-0 to Rourke is up and away for ball 4. 4-pitch walk. Second time he's reached. He singled back in the first.
Now batting, shortstop number 22.
And that'll bring up the shortstop, Josh Altman. He struck out in the first. He was the third strikeout of the inning for John Farindelli. Farindelli exits the game 2 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Runner at first flinches like he's going to run, but he goes back. And Altman showed bunt, pulls back, and the count is 1-0.
I saw a lot of Chinooks practicing their bunts and batting practice before the game started, so that's something else we might see. The Chinooks, this is preseason play, trying to, check out their pitchers, see what they have when it comes to batting, and, I mean, why not try to bunt against the Miners? After losing 2 straight to them, you know what? Might as well try bunting. So we might see a few of those tonight.
2-0 the count on Altman. He fouls it right back. 2-1. Outfield is straight away. No action in the Miners bullpen. One away. 4-1 Chinooks. That's lifted foul territory. Giving chases. Simmons giving chases. Now it is Simmons again. He bangs into the fence.
Wow.
But tagging at first and headed up to second base is Griffith Rourke. But just again, that's out number 2, but those are 2 great outs from Hunter Simmons. He says he just feels very comfortable playing that first base position like he's just in his backyard hanging out and just casually playing. Like there's no stress. He just feels very loose and comfortable.
And we had a clear shot of him running towards us, and he even called off Mitchell now, the catcher. I mean, he knew he had that ball. I really enjoy watching him play at first base.
Now Mitchell now is going to head out and chat with Josh Morris, try to get this out. There's a runner in scoring position, and when runners have been scoring position for the Chinooks, hasn't really worked out great for the Miners. Cameron Frost takes a couple steps in towards center. He was playing more of a right center. And here is Stephen Pollux. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of Ks. He hits a hard grounder to the second baseman, Terrence Connolly. He's up with it, throws to first for out number 3. 4-1 Chinooks. Here in Palmer, Alaska, we head for the bottom half of inning number 3 on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Back at Herman Brothers Field, 4-1. The Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks lead the Miners. And it's the top of the order, 1, 2, and 3. Cameron Frost, Dane Wunderlich, and Nick Senzel facing Kyle McDormand. Cameron Frost reached on an infield single in the first, and the center fielder from Washington State was put out 6-4 in a fielder's choice. First pitch from McDormand shows bunt, and it's low, ball 1. Dane Wunderlich waits on deck.
And I believe it was Cameron Frost who told me before the game that he saw a moose today.
Did he?
He did.
1-0 is slapped foul, straight back.
Which, update with my moose sightings, it's still at 0.
I haven't seen one. I'm still stuck on 3. I actually retired the moose pin today.
Oh, I saw that. You're wearing the state.
I'm wearing the state flag today. Inside, and that one gets Frost. He'll head down to first. There's his speed. That's the second minor that's been plunked today, the other being Mitchell now in the second. I'll bring up Dane Wunderlich. He scored the only minors run thus far. He reached on a 6-4 fielder's choice back in the first inning. Dane Wunderlich, the outfielder from Rice. First pitch is low, ball 1.
Cameron Frost kind of started off like he was going to steal second on that pitch, but instead held up and tagged back to the first base, and now is a little bit of a lead off first.
And you can never be surprised if Cameron Frost takes off and throw over. He's back safely. Frost only had 31 at-bats for Washington State. Just finished his freshman year. And he stole 2 bases in 4 attempts, but he can fly. We've seen it throw back. He's back.
I think he definitely has McDormand a little nervous.
Oh, I would. And he's
There
off.
goes.
Throw from the catcher, Murphy. The tag. He's out. Excellent throw from the catcher, Jeff Murphy from Boston College. Right on target. And that's the first out of the inning. Had a good jump. He really
He
did.
did.
Finished a great throw from the catcher, Murphy. 2-0 to Wunderlich. Popped up on the infield. Catch is made for out number 2.
That throw by Murphy was one of those perfect, it had to be perfect in order to get Frost out, and it was perfect.
Here is Nick Senzel, freshman All-American from the University of Tennessee, in the DH spot tonight. Reached on there by the first baseman, Jackson Kramer, in the first inning. Play that resembled, this hurts me to say it, but resembled the 1986 World Series. First pitch to Senzel is low, ball 1. We've seen Kramer at first base make some excellent defensive plays as well. A 1 line foul.
Except for that one right between his legs.
Yeah, other than that one, he's actually been very solid over there. Sometimes they just get away. It happens. You always learn from mistakes like that, too. 1-1 the count on Nick Senzel. 1-1 is a little high. 2-1. Senzel was 2 for 5 with an RBI in Monday night's 10-7 win against the Chinooks. 2-1 from McDormand. Upstairs again. 3-1 to hitter's count. And here comes the 3-1 pitch. Upstairs ball. Oh, it's a late called strike from Steve Long. I think Senzel actually thought it was a strike
Yeah, he did.
because he didn't make his way down to first.
Right.
I have to say I'm a little surprised. I thought it was a little high.
Yeah, I did too.
It was like that pitch right before it. 3-2. Lifted out toward deep right center. Back goes Stephen Pollux and James Navant. It is Pollux who makes the catch out in right center field for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning for Kyle McDormand, and the Chinooks still lead it 4-1 on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. To inning number 4 we go. Here at Herman Brothers Field in Palmer, Alaska. 4-1. The Chinooks lead the Miners. Josh Morris is back out there for his second inning of work. He will face the right fielder James Navant from Notre Dame, left fielder Brett Collins, and Kyle Conkle. James Navant has been on twice, and he scored twice. First pitch is up and near his head, and I think he's going to try to say it hit him. And Steve Long says no. Navant walked in the first and reached on an error in the second by the shortstop Paul Panichone. 1-0. Low for ball 2, 2-0. This is Morris' second inning of work. There is no action in the Miners bullpen. There's actually nobody's even over there.
So I guess Morris is going to stay put for a little while then.
Well, he was supposed to get the start yesterday, so he might get his 3 innings or 60 pitches today. 3-0. Up and in, ball 4. Second walk for Navant. And the third time he's been on. He's been on in all 3 plate appearances. That brings up the left fielder, Brett Collins. He was hit by a pitch in the first, and he scored. And then he doubled in the second and was stranded. That was when Jackson Kramer hit a ball right back to Farindelli, the pitcher. Went in his glove, actually threw his glove off his hand. He was still able to make the play. First pitch is way outside, 1-0. Brett Collins stole 3 bases for Vanguard this past season. Fly ball left side, giving chase is the third baseman, Jordan Rogers. He doesn't have a play. Went for it, went into the slide, couldn't pick it up.
I think going from grass, which is very simple, easy to run on, to that gravel kind of slows you down a little bit.
I could tell you it's not even easy to walk on that.
No, it's not.
It's very difficult, and if you're not wearing socks, that will get in your shoes. I am a victim. 1-1 the count, and the runner is off. He slaps it foul over by the Chinooks third base dugout.
Navant had a good jump there on that pitch, but Collins hits it foul.
Navant just finished his sophomore year at Notre Dame in South Bend. 1-2 the count on Collins. Here comes pitch from Morris. Breaking ball lifted out toward left center. Back goes Cameron Frost. It'll get down and roll all the way to the wall. Chris Beck, the manager, is waving around James Navant. No throw. He will score. It's an RBI double for Brett Collins. His second double of the night. And it makes it 5-1 Chinooks. Much better offensive production for the Chinooks tonight. Much better. It looked pretty good on Sunday, but it was just a 5-run night for the Miners that kind of took it all away. And then, of course, Monday was just a hit attack, a 10-7 win for the Miners. Here's Kyle Conkle, designated hitter. He singled and scored in the first. Hits a slow roller back to the mound. Off is Morris. Throws to first and gets the out. Collins advances to third. It's only the first out. That brings up Billy Arndt. Billy Arndt, the third baseman tonight from Princeton, just finished his sophomore year. Graduated summa cum laude. Infield is coming in for Billy Arndt. Maybe some small ball. The suicide squeeze. Try to get that run in from third. Pitch from Morris. Lifted foul right side.
Frost also kind of playing to the right in center field.
0-1. Hunter Simmons gives chase, but that one is foul over by the batting cage. Behind the groundskeeping shed. I guess that's what you can call it.
Yeah. It's a solid shed.
And the Miners dugout. 0-2 is high ball 1, 1-2. James Navant, the right fielder from Notre Dame, has scored 3 of the 5 runs for the Chinooks. Got a close friend who goes to Notre Dame. Slap foul, first base side, and into the bleachers. That was hit very hard. 1-2 the count to Billy Arndt. Infield is still in. They're going to try to throw home if there's anything on the ground, and the count is even at 2-2 as that ball's low, scooped up by Mitchell now. Yeah, at first I thought it was the suicide squeeze, but now I see there's 2 outs. So most likely anything on the ground, they're going home to make sure they don't add another run. 2-2 is high, 3-2. Billy Arndt struck out in the first, singled in the second. 5-1 Chinooks. 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 here in the fourth. Pitch in, that is fouled right off of the helmet of catcher Mitchell now. This morning at around 8 or 9 o'clock, dark clouds in Palmer. Was driving around early. 3-2. That's slap foul. First base side again. Billy Arndt working a very good at-bat here. 9-pitch at-bat already. Dark clouds all around. There was snow on the mountains.
Right.
It is June 11th. Swing, and that's a fly ball out to right field. Dane Wunderlich makes the catch, and the runner at third, Collins, flinches toward home, but no movement, and a big out there for Josh Morris. He really needed an out there. Couldn't put another runner on. I think right now, trailing 5-1 here in the fourth, you just take outs any way you can get them.
Definitely, and Josh Morris, wants strikeouts, wants to finish this inning, strong, but An out is an out, and with a runner on third, like you said, you're down by 4 runs. You just got to get them out any way you can.
Here is Jackson Kramer. First pitch is way low and away, 1-0. Kramer singled in the first, grounded back to the pitcher Farindelli in the second. That was the ground ball that could have pulled the glove right off of Farindelli's hand. 1-0. Ripped, right field line, and foul. A lot of foul balls over toward that right field side, and a foul ball does damage to your car. Go visit the folks at Napa Auto Parts with locations in Big Lake, Palmer, and Wasilla. Visit www.napaalaska.com. 1-1 the count on Kramer. Here's the pitch from Morris. Inside and high, 2-1. Center fielder Cameron Frost a couple steps toward right center. Brandon Smith playing a little shallow as well. Pitch is high, 3-1 to Kramer. Jackson Kramer was 1 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts on Monday against the Miners. 3-1. Outside, ball 4. Second walk of the inning given up by Josh Morris, his third of the outing.
Now batting, catcher number 17, Jeff Murphy.
Now corners. Collins at third, Kramer at first for the catcher Jeff Murphy from Boston College. Murphy walked in the first and popped out to the first baseman Hunter Simmons in foul territory in the third. First pitch from Morris, here it is. In there, called strike. That pop fly to Simmons in the third and foul ground. That was actually the first of 2 excellent defensive plays for the first baseman. Lifted out into the infield. Panachone calls for it and makes the out. That'll end the inning. 5-1 Chinooks. They get a run. On the RBI double for Brett Collins, they lead at 5-1. We head for the bottom half of inning number 4 on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Back here in Palmer, Alaska, the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks have a 5-1 lead. Hunter Simmons stands in, grounded out to second in the first inning. First pitch from Kyle McDormand, and they're called strike. On the count on the first baseman from Utah. Check swing, it's a called strike.
Hunter, a extremely patient batter.
Absolutely. Haven't really seen it tonight. He's got a count of 0-2. Here comes the pitch from Kyle McDormand. Low ball 1. 1-2. Talking with Hunter before the game, we were talking about how much of a patient hitter he is, and he said he just waits. And if it's on the black on the outside part of the plate, and it's a called strike, he says hats off to the pitcher. I think that's kind of the only way to go.
Yeah.
Those are always very tough. That's sometimes just the goal of a pitcher. Just paint that outside part of the plate and get the strike. And if you do, mission accomplished. 1-2 pitch coming to Simmons. Well, high, even at 2-2. Forgot, did Hunter say he saw a moose, or are you still looking?
I think he's still looking.
2-2 to Simmons. Slow roller down the first base line. Picking it up is the first baseman Kramer. Flips to Kyle McDormand. And that's out number 1. Mark that 3-1.
Now batting your left fielder, number 25, Brandon Smith.
I'll bring up Brandon Smith. He struck out in the first. Brandon Smith from Grand Canyon was 3 for 5 and scored 2 runs on Monday against the Chinooks. If you have something to tell us, you can tweet at us at ABL Miners. Or if you just want to say hello. First pitch to Smith. Hard grounder, foul, third base side. You can also email us, matsuminersbroadcast@gmail.com. No dash. Hyphen dash. Which one's the short one? I think the dash. Yeah, no dash in Matsu. 0-1 on Brandon Smith. Pitch from McDormand. Checks his swing. They'll check it first. He did not go. Brandon Smith was a 15th round selection of the Washington Nationals in the 2012 MLB draft. For Grand Canyon in 2013 at 318. 1-1 pitch is up and in, 2-1. As a senior in high school, he hit 4-2-1, and that's a called strike. 2-2. Jordan Rogers, third baseman from Tennessee, waits on deck. Monday's player of the game. 5-1 Chinooks in the bottom of the 4th. 2-2. Lifted out to right. And there is James Navant from Notre Dame who makes the catch for out number 2. I'll bring up Rogers. He grounded out to third in the second.
Your third baseman, number 7, Jordan Rogers.
Terrence Connolly waits on deck, but 2 away for Rogers. First pitch in the dirt, scooped up by Murphy. The Chinooks have 2 other catchers on this roster, and we've seen the other 2. That's Mark Lindsay and A.J. Durr. A.J. Durr from Point Loma Nazarene University. 1-0 pitch to Rogers. Grounder back to the mound. And McDormand will flip to Jackson Kramer for out number 3. And 1-2-3 inning for Kyle McDormand. The Chinooks still lead the Miners 5-1 here in Palmer on the Matsu Miners Radio Network.
Welcome back to Herman Brothers Field. Miners still trailing the Chinooks 5-1. And Griffith Rourke at the plate for the Chinooks. Rourke had a single in the first inning and was walked in the third. Rourke playing second base tonight as he takes his first pitch as a strike. Josh Morris still at the on the mound for the Miners. But there is action in the bullpen for the Miners as this pitch is high and outside for ball 1.
Well, there's no catcher over there. Or there is, but he's not behind the plate. Spencer Jack from Kentucky and Tyler Stubblefield are out there. But no action yet.
Two balls, one strike, and that's ball number 3 high and outside again for Josh Morris. Morris having a little bit of trouble finding the strike zone early in this inning.
Just one hit for the Miners.
Fouled back for strike 2. Full count now for Meyer.
And one hit through 4 innings. Not what we've seen in the last 2 games.
The first game, though, kind of saw something like that, and then they scored 5 runs in the 9th.
Right, but not Monday. That was like a 13-hit game.
And it's a strikeout for Meyer as Rourke is caught swinging.
Now that is shortstop number 22, Josh Altman.
And that's Morris's first strikeout. It's a good way to start the 4th inning. Fifth inning, excuse me.
I'd say so.
Josh Altman now takes his place at the plate. He struck out in the first. Looks to bunt, instead takes ball 1. He struck out in the first and had a fly out to Simmons at first base in the third. Again, another ball for Morris.
It was really that first inning where they scored 3 runs. That was the rough part.
2-0 pitch. That's a strike for strike number 1. Two 1 pitch. Off the tip of his bat. Right up the first base side. Right field. Scooped up by Dane Wunderlich, and it's an easy single for Josh Altman.
That was actually the first hit of the season for Altman.
Now that
It
is
was 0 for 8.
Stephen Pollux.
Back to the top of the batting order, Stephen Pollux, the center fielder, heads to the left of the plate. He has struck out twice, grounded out to second. Big swing with a high fly ball going to shallow right field. And the speedy Cameron Frost able to get the second out of the inning. I thought it was going to be Dane Wunderlich or even Conley going for that, but all of a sudden Cameron Frost was there and caught it.
He was in straightaway center and actually made the catch. If you imagine where the second baseman typically stands on the diamond, just about basically just to the left of the second base bag, then yeah, Cameron Frost basically made the catch just right behind that. It was definitely, I don't think it was more Connolly's ball, but as long as the catch is made.
Brings up
A.J. Durr.
A.J. Durr actually pinch hitting for James Navant, the right fielder. First pitch to Durr, and it's a ball, but now tries to throw it to Simmons to catch Altman off the bag, and it's not there in time, and Altman is able to stay at first. 0-1 count, fouled down the first base side for strike 1. A.J. Durr played catcher last night for 5 innings. He struck out twice. This is another strike to Durr. And he did not play on Sunday night. 1-2 count. Pitch in the dirt, and Altman steals second on the wild pitch. The pitch hit the dirt before it even made it to the plate.
Yeah, that was scooped up by Mitchell now, and that really, if that had gotten to the backstop, maybe Altman would have even gone for third.
Pitch, I guess it was a little low. Now full count for Josh Morris.
2 outs and a runner in scoring position, and the Miners trailing 5-1. Morris needs to find a way to get this out. Strike out, ground out, fly out, anything.
Swung on, foul ball.
We have seen a lot of foul balls in this game.
It seems most of them down the first base side, too.
Yeah, many of them out out of play, meaning out of the playing area.
And if they are down the first base side in the plane area, most were caught by Hunter Simmons, as A.J. Durr is caught swinging for a strikeout, out number 3 to end the inning. And we head to the bottom of the 5th. You are listening to Miners Radio Network.
First number 834, 448.
Welcome back to Herman Brothers Field. Some changes to the Chinooks, starting with the new pitcher. Lance Phillips is now pitching for the Chinooks. He is pitching to Terrence Conley of the Miners. Conley with a great hit on the left field side. Rolls to A.J. Durr, who is also a new change to the Chinooks. And Conley able to get the first hit for the inning.
Now batting your catcher, number 30, Mitchell Now.
Brings up Mitchell Now, catcher tonight. He was hit by a pitch in the second inning. Pitch is high for ball 1. Now hits it straight back to the pitcher, Phillips. Phillips throws it back to Rourke at second, Rourke to Kramer, and it's a double play for the Chinooks. It's a 1-4-3 double play. So the Chinooks now with 2 very quick outs. Brings up Paul Panachone, the shortstop. Panachone grounded to short at his last at bat in the 2nd inning. First pitch to Panachone is a strike. Second is a high fly ball in the infield. It's actually going foul by first base, but first baseman Kramer able to get the 3rd out, fly out to Kramer. And that ends the 5th inning for the Miners. As we head into the 6th, you're listening to the Miners Radio Network. Welcome back, everybody, to Herman Field, a pitching change with Josh Grissom. And it's a hit by Brett Collins off the tip of Grissom's glove, and Collins is able to reach base to start things off in the 6th inning. Grissom plays both pitcher and catcher. He's out of Blue Mountain State Community College. He prefers playing pitcher, though.
Pitch hitting, number 34, Nick Cavello.
Nick Cavello now pinch hitting for Kyle Conkle. Miners still trail 5-1 behind the Chinooks. First pitch by Grissom. Gets behind now, but Brett Collins stays at first. Count 1 ball, no strikes, no outs, runner on first. Pitch by Grissom, hits the dirt again for ball 2. Zachary Freeman, the batter, fouls it back to third base line. Freeman out of New Mexico State University. Have some family in New Mexico. Freeman, an Aggie at NM State. As Mitchell now calls time to kind of wave Grissom off, shaking his head at him. Grissom nods, steps back onto the mound. 2 balls, 1 strike, no outs. Runner on first. Pitch in the strike zone for strike number 2. Freeman, 6'4", 205 pounds, sophomore. Grissom checks over his shoulder. Swung on, deep ball, hit down the third base side, and it's going to go out of play. Both Jordan Rogers and Brandon Smith running over to it. But the ball went out of play, out of reach. Count still at 2 balls, 2 strikes, no out. At the top of the 6th inning here. Beautiful day in Palmer, nice and sunny. Clouds are moving out so we can see the mountains out of left field again. There is snow on the mountains again. Last night, I guess some snow hit the higher altitudes. It was raining in Palmer. That's why the game was canceled last night. As Freeman fouls another one back down the third base line. Count still at 2-2. No outs for the Miners. Runner on first base. Swung on, grounder to second. Scooped up by Conley. Spins around and great throw to Simmons for the 4-3 out. Brett Collins does advance to second base though, but able to do a little bit of damage control with Freeman. Now 1 out for the Miners. That brings up Billy Arndt, the third baseman. He was struck out in the first inning, had a single in the second, and had a fly out to right fielder Dane Wunderlich. Arndt, right-handed batter. Grissom's first pitch on the outside part of the strike zone for strike number 1. Collins tags up at second, but has about a 5 to 6 foot lead. Grissom looks over his shoulder one last time. And a little bit of a wild pitch, but great job by now to keep it in front of him. And Collins was thinking about running towards third, but now too quick. He scooped it up and prevented the steal by Collins. Great work there by the catcher from Texas A&M. The 1-1 pitch. This one's in the dirt. This one gets away from now, and Collins is able to just casually jog into third off of the wild pitch. Two balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Pitch is inside, or nope, it's called a ball. Guess it was a little low for home plate umpire Steve Long. Runner on third, 1 out. This one's in the dirt again for Grissom for ball 4. As Billy Arndt takes his base, Jackson Kramer Now walks up to the plate, the left-handed batter playing first base tonight. He had a single in the first inning, reached second on a wild pitch, and made it to third, but was stranded there. Then he grounded it out to the pitcher in the second inning. That was Farindelli at the time, and walked in the fourth inning. First pitch by Grissom to Kramer is a strike. Kramer with a very open stance, batting on the left side of the plate. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Miners still trail 5-1. This pitch by Grissom way outside for ball 1, excuse me. One pitch swung on, foul down the first base side, which we've seen a lot tonight. Collins on third, not taking too much of a lead off of third base. Billy Arndt, on the other hand, at first. Well, right now he's on the bag as catcher Mitchell now and Josh Grissom have a little chat on the mound. But Billy Arndt now taking a lead off of first. Josh Grissom on the mound takes a quick look at Arndt over his shoulder. Pitch outside, and they were going to try to catch Arndt stealing as he throws it way outside. Mitchell now in the stance to throw it to second, but Arndt stays back at first. Evens the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Grissom's pitch outside for ball 3. Full count now for the Miners pitcher. And for Jackson Kramer at the plate, good job of battling back from kind of being down in the count. Evens it out at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Full count, high fly ball back into center field. Cameron Frost going back for it, but it's at the wall. And Collins will score. Collins will score and Arndt will score. It's a 2 RBI double for Jackson Kramer. So that's 2 more runs scored for the Chinooks. Brings up catcher Jeff Murphy for Chugiak. Actually, that's Mark Lindsay. Mark Lindsay came in the 7th inning 2 nights ago for the catcher A.J. Durr at the time. 2 nights ago, he grounded out to the pitcher and also had a single in the 9th and scored a run. Pitch a little high for Josh Grissom. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Jackson Kramer on second. This one's within the strike zone. 2 balls, 1 strike for Grissom. Great crowd here at Herman Brothers Field tonight. Opening day was a little cloudy and cold, so a lot of people decided to stay home, listen to us. But now looks like they've gotten a lot more people out here tonight, and it's great to see. It is Kids Day for the Matanuska Electric Association. Everyone's getting a pair of pretty cool blue sunglasses. Austin is already sporting his. Now, as Josh Grissom throws his 4th ball, walks Mark Lindsay. So now Jackson Kramer at second base after his double, 2 RBI double. And Mark Lindsay now at first with a walk. Brings up Griffin Rourke. First pitch is ball. Griffith Rourke playing second base tonight. Been doing pretty well. He had a single in the first, was walked in the third, but was left on base. It's pitched by Rourke off the top of the glove of Connolly, rolls into right field to Wunderlich, and the bases are now loaded for the Miners. Griffith Rourke with his second single of the night. Mark Lindsay, who was walked, heads to second, and Jackson Kramer, who had the double, heads to third. So bases loaded situation. Bases loaded situation for the Miners causes pitching coach Brad Baker to head out to the mound to talk with pitcher Josh Grissom, and also the catcher Mitchell Now is out there.
One last reminder here on NBA night.
And brings in the rest of the infield.
It's also kids' night, so if you're a kid, go to the merchandise check, get a ticket for
Have a little meeting out there.
beautiful new bikes. Again, kids, go
Josh
to the
Altman
check, get a ticket for
will
the
bat for the Chinooks when this little meeting is over on the mound. Altman, shortstop tonight, was struck out in the first inning. Had a fly out to Hunter Simmons, the first baseman, and had a single in the fifth, and then was able to advance to second off of a wild pitch, but was left on base. So Josh Grissom will stay in the game as the pitcher for the Miners. Bases loaded, 1 out. Miners trail 7-1 now here in Palmer. Pitch a little low and outside for ball 1. Outfield is straight away. Cameron Frost is actually in the center of center field. That pitch is a strike. Evens count at 1. Frost has been playing a little bit to our right and a little bit shallow. Now after that double, looks like he took a couple steps back. The double was hit at the wall by Jackson Kramer. This one's fouled back by Altman. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Force out at every plate. So the Miners wanting to get some sort of action going. This pitch is hit foul towards the bullpen of the Miners down the first base line. And there is action. No catcher, though, in the Miners bullpen. The 1-2 pitch by Grissom. Swung on, and it's a high fly ball down the first base side, and sliding is Dane Wunderlich, not able to get there in time to get the catch. And it's John Boyer who's warming up in the bullpen for the Miners right now, the right-hander from Wasilla. So a local boy. Goes to community college in Kansas City. Just down the road to my school, University of Missouri. Here's the 1-2 pitch by Grissom, and it's a wild pitch. Behind now, hits the backstop, and Jackson Kramer just casually jogs in for the 3rd run of the inning. And Mark Lindsay is able to advance to 3rd, and Griffith Rourke walks into 2nd. Even count now at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Still only 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. The wind is starting to pick up a little bit in the outfield. Pitch is in the dirt by Grissom. Now full count. Wind is blowing inside the park at the back of Smith, Frost, and Wunderlich, the outfielders. And that's ball 4 as it goes off the face mask of Mitchell now. And another run is scored. The hand of Mark Lindsay. Griffith Work able to make it into third base as Josh Altman at first after that walk. Head back to the top of the order with Stephen Pollux, the center fielder tonight, was struck out in the first and second innings, then grounded out to second in the third, and had a fly out in the fifth. And now head coach Ben Taylor heads out to the mound as the entire infield again meets him there, and it looks like we'll have a pitching change. That's John Boyer jogging out to the mound. As Josh Grissom heads back to the Miners dugout. And now every pitcher for the Miners so far tonight has either been a Josh or a John. I know it's kind of an odd observation, but as I write in John Boyer's name on my score sheet, it has been John Farandelli, Josh Morris, Josh Grissom, and now John Boyer. Just a funny thing I've noticed.
Winners here, so get those red tickets out. Got 5 winners. First winner, 834-460.
I was talking to John Boyer a couple days ago. Another very nice guy. He is out of his hometown is Wasilla, right down the road here from Palmer. Goes to school at Kansas City Community College. And I think he told me that his father or his mother is actually an alum of my school, the University of Missouri. It's kind of a cool connection. He takes some practice pitches to Mitchell now, a student at another SEC school, a little down south at College Station, Texas A&M. Got quite a few Aggies on this team for the Miners. The infield for the Miners are meeting there close to second base. The Chinooks having a little meeting on third base. And the Miners outfielders meeting in center field. That's Smith, Frost, and Wunderlich. Boyer all ready to go. That brings up Stephen Pollux for the Chinooks. Pollux a left-hander. Last inning he had a fly out to center. Miners trail the Chinooks 9-1. Swung on grounder to Conley. Conley quick pass to Panachone covering second, and it's a double play as Panachone throws it to first back to Simmons. It's a 4-6-3 double play, and that's not a bad way to end a kind of a rough sixth inning for the Miners. Miners trail now 9-1 behind the Chinooks as we head to the bottom of the sixth inning. You are listening to Miners Radio Network. Welcome back to the Herman Brothers Field here in the beautiful Palmer, Alaska. Now in the bottom of the 6th inning, Cameron Frost leading things off for the Miners. He's at the top of the batting order and the leadoff hitter for Matsu. We have a little timeout situation with home plate umpire. Frost, one of the quickest players, I'd say, on the Miners team. He is playing center field, has played center field the past 2 games, and again tonight. Very quick on the bases. Swung on, grounder to the first baseman, Kramer, and Kramer just tags the bag. Out number 1. So 1 away for the Chinooks. Brings up Dane Wunderlich, the right fielder. Had a single in the 1st inning, scored a run, and then had a fly out to right field in the 3rd. And the past 3 innings, only 3 Miners have gone to the plate. It's been 3 up, 3 down for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings. So not a bad job by the Chinooks. Swung on foul ball by Wunderlich. The first game of this series, the Miners won 6-3 with a 5-run 9th inning. And then 2 nights ago, the Miners won 10-7. But tonight, tables have turned with the Chinooks leading 9-1. Dane takes one on the outside corner for strike 2. So the Chinooks doing a pretty good job of keeping the Miners in check. Miners only have 2 hits. Big swing by Dane, and that is strike number 3 for out number 2 of the inning. That is the first strikeout for pitcher Lance Phillips of Chugiak. Now the designated hitter, Nick Senzel, at the plate. Senzel, out of the University of Tennessee, has been playing second base the past 2 nights. Swung on, foul back for strike 1. He had a single in the 1st, but then was left on base and had a fly out also in the 3rd inning to center field. Pitch a little low and inside for ball number 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs for the Chinooks. Inside again for ball 2. And it's just about that time to start nominating or start thinking about nominating player of the game.
Thinking about.
Yeah, thinking about it. This one's outside for ball 3.
Tweet at us at ABL Miners. A lot of you have been just commenting below the live feed. You can do that as well. We do get those notifications. Or you can send us an email. MatsuMinersBroadcast@gmail.com. No hyphen in Matsu.
And Senzel able to walk down the first base line as he is walked by Phillips. Brings up first baseman Hunter Simmons. And he has grounded out as both at bats in the 1st and 4th innings. It's a little uncharacteristic of Simmons after we've seen in the past 2 nights. As he takes his first pitch as a ball. And this one's a strike for strike 1. Quick glance over his shoulder by Phillips, keeping an eye on Senzel at first. And the pitch is inside for ball 2.
Hunter Simmons has not walked tonight. Something he's done a lot of.
And that's high, but called a strike. I don't know if Simmons really agreed with that one, but he's going to have to deal with it. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Phillips keeping an eye on Nick Senzel at first. And it's a foul ball.
I think
that
Senzel
was
just kept on
Simmons.
going.
I think so too, but I think that was Simmons yelling foul. It kind of sounded like him. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Maybe that was him asking the umpire for a
Maybe.
foul ball.
I've known players to just kind of yell at the ball, go foul, foul. You know, maybe he was
I
doing
used
that.
to do that all the time. I still do.
Check swing. And that's strike number 3 for Simmons. And out number 3 for the inning. 2 strikeouts in the 6th for the Chinooks. And again, only 4 batters for the Miners in the 6th inning. Miners trail 9-1 behind the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks. As we head to the 7th inning, you are listening to the Miners Radio Network.
Back here in Palmer, Alaska, the Chinooks lead the Miners 9-1.
Left fielder number 10, A.J. Durr.
A.J. Durr to lead things off, takes a first pitch ball. From John Boyer. Boyer got a big double play in inning number 6. 1-1. Chopper back to the mound into the glove of Boyer. He underflips to the first base with Simmons for out number 1.
Now batting right fielder number 14, Brett Collins.
It's snack time in the Miners press box. Thanks to the Miners concession stand, so we're making sure we're well fed.
We do appreciate it.
Strike to Brett Collins. 0-1. Collins now in right field. Another strike. And Boyer coming in here, he's really pitched well. Now Boyer, I've known for a couple weeks now as he delivers the 0-2. It is slapped to the third base side. Jordan Rogers throws across the diamond for a 5-3 put out 2 away. Boyer, as we've mentioned, he's from Wasilla, about 15, maybe 20 minutes away from Palmer. And after highway cleanup, the Miners sponsor a couple of miles, about I think 2 on Glen Highway, just outside of the ballpark. He has to pick up some trash, and then Kevin Christopher, who's the general manager, the son of general manager Pete Christopher, and I, the 3 of us, picked up trash as There is Nick Cavello, who sends a fly ball out to left field. It'll get down and bang off the wall. Cavello rounds first, heads for second. He's in with a double.
Now batting third baseman number 9.
Cavello's now 1 for 2. He grounded out to second in the 6th. That brings up Billy Arndt. Blair steps out with a runner on second base. The Chinooks lead 9-1. 11 hits for Chugiak. Just 2 for the Miners. First pitch ripped into center field. Cameron Frost charging, makes the catch for out number 3. A double goes to nothing for Nick Cavello. The Chinooks still lead at 9-1 as we head for the bottom half of inning number 7. Time to stretch at Herman Brothers Field. We'll be right back on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Herman Brothers, bottom of the 7th. Brandon Smith, Jordan Rogers, Terrence Connolly against the new pitcher Shane Armstrong. Armstrong did pitch on Sunday. 2 innings, a hit, no earned runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. First pitch to Smith is up and in for ball 1. Want to nominate a player of the game? Send us a tweet at ABL Miners, or you can also comment on the video feed, or the comment section below the video feed. Also email us, matsuminersbroadcast@gmail.com. It's lifted right side, giving chase is the first baseman Kramer. It'll get out of play directly behind the Miners dugout. Two and 1 the count on Brandon Smith. He's 0 for 2. He struck out in the 1st and flew out to right in the 4th. Rips one to the right side, giving chase is the right fielder Brett Collins, but it's out of play. Two and 2 the count on Brandon Smith. The Chinooks lead the Miners 9-1. Sun still shining here at Herman Brothers Field. Back up the middle, a base hit into right center for Brandon Smith. He will take a wide turn at first and stop it. Oh, now he's going to advance to second. The throw into second, and Smith is out. Ball out there by Brett Collins, the right fielder.
Now batting
So
your
Smith
baseman number 7, Jordan Rogers.
retired. Jordan Rogers, the batter, he's 0 for 2. Pair of groundouts, 1 to third, 1 to first. So Smith, that's a single, but then he's out at second on the throw. He's out 9 to 4. 1-1 the count on Rogers. Stopped by Lindsay on the backhand. 2-1. Outfield is straight away. 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error for the Miners. 9 runs, 11 hits, 1 error for the Chinooks. 2-1. Twisted in foul territory, giving chases. Kramer, it gets out of play behind the Miners' dugout. The 3 hits, Brandon Smith has 1. Terrence Connolly had 1 in the 5th. And then going back all the way to the first inning, Cameron Frost led off with an infield single. 2-2 the count on Rogers. There's the pitch from Armstrong. Weak grounder to the first base side. There is Kramer. He will take it himself for out number 2.
Now batting your second baseman number 26, Terrence Conley.
Here is Connolly, 1 for 2. Grounded back to the pitcher, McDormand, in the 2nd. And singled in the 5th. On the count on Connolly from UNC Wilmington. Pitch from Armstrong, outside part of the plate for a strike. 0-2. Bats not all there for the Miners. Oh, 2 hard grounder to second base. There is Griffith Rourke. Throws on to first, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Shane Armstrong, and the Chinooks still lead at 9-1 as we head to inning number 8 on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. We'll be right back. Back in Palmer. Miners trail the Chinooks 9-1. Not the best night with the bats or the pitching for the Miners. Jackson Kramer to lead things off against John Boyer. Boyer's been great in relief. The tall right-hander from Kansas City Community College as Kramer fouls one back. Boyer an inning and 2/3, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, no Ks. Boyer has thrown 15 pitches, 0-2. Back behind Boyer, who comes to his right off the mound. Panachone throw to first. He's safe. Delayed call from the first base umpire, but Panachone maybe had a hard time getting the ball out of his glove, but he was playing deep at the shortstop position. Kind of had to come in. Boyer went to his right, jumped. He's tall. Couldn't make the catch. So Kramer will reach with an infield single.
It almost looked like Panachone thought that Boyer had it.
Lindsay fouls it back.
Number 20, the catcher, Mark Lindsay.
That might be a little why he was a little bit slow getting there.
Lindsay walked and scored in the 6th. This is his second plate appearance. Breaking ball in there called strike, 0-2. And the dirt scooped up by now. 1-2. One-two pitch. Chopper back to the mound. Boyer tries to barehand it. Panachone will have to throw to first. In time. A very similar play to what we saw before with Jackson Kramer. Boyer tried to barehand it. Went right under his hand. Right through it. But there was Panachone to make the catch. Make the play.
Now batting second baseman, number 11, Griffith.
Kramer up to second. Here's Griffith Rourke. Rourke singled in the first, walked in the third, struck out in the 5th, and walked again in the 6th. 9 runs for the Chinooks. Rourke's been on base 3 times, has not scored. And the first pitch to him is outside for ball 1. One-0, foul tipped into the mid of catcher Mitchell now. 1-2.
And we have our first player of the game nomination.
I did not see that.
It is for Josh Morris and for Boyer. We have a 2-for-1.
2-for-1.
So we have 1 for Morris and 1 for Boyer. So we need a tiebreaker.
Yeah, we need a tiebreaker. Tweet at us at ABL Miners or leave your comment below the feed. We'll read them. 2-1 is high. 3-1. And Josh Morris did pitch pretty well. 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Fouled off to the left side. 3-2. Kyle McDormand for the Chinooks pitched very well. 4 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, no walks, 1 strikeout. As did Lance Phillips. 2 hits, 1 run, 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts as Boyer gets the strikeout of Griffith Rourke. That's the first strikeout for John Boyer, and there's 2 away here in the 8th.
So John Boyer looking pretty good as player of the game.
He's certainly someone to consider. Josh Altman, the batter, struck out in the first, popped out to the first baseman Hunter Simmons in the 3rd. He singled in the 5th, walked in the 6th, fouls 1 off. 0-1. For the Miners in the 8th, it'll be 8, 9, and 1. Right now, that's Mitchell Now, Paul Panachone, and Cameron Frost. 0-1 from Boyer. Inside, 1-1. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball, little high, 2-1. Two one. Inside again, 3-1. Fans still here. And there's a walk to Altman. He's on base for the third time. First walk given up by John Boyer. Second walk for Altman. Third time he's been on base, and to the top of the order for Stephen Pollux. Been a rough night for Pollux. Back to Boyer, out of his glove. He'll off the mound, throw to first. In time. What a play by John Boyer. Right back to him, put his glove up over his face, smacked the ball down, picked it up, and threw to first. What a great play by John Boyer. And that'll end the inning. It's still 9-1 Chinooks, though, as we head to the bottom half of inning number 8 on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Back at Herman Brothers Field in Palmer. Bottom of the 8th, action Mitchell now to lead things off for the Miners, down 9-1. Shane Armstrong is back out there. Only one to count on Mitchell now. And it's 1-1. One is outside. 2-1. Nine runs, 12 hits for Mitchell. Now it's a high fly ball toward deep left. Back goes A.J. Durr. He makes the catch. A lot of air on that for Mitchell now. It was close. A.J. Durr makes the catch, and there's one away. Miners just can't catch a break tonight. Not a lot of strikeouts. 2 in the 6th. 1 in the 1st. Panachone takes ball 1. Yeah, McDormand had 1, and Lance Phillips had 2, but that's it. Just 3. Pitch to Panachone. Ripped down the left field line. A base hit will get down. Panachone will round first, head for second. The throw in. He slides, and he's safe with a 1-out double. Maybe it's time to start a rally in the valley.
It might be.
1-out double for Panachone. That'll bring up Cameron Frost.
Back to the top of the order. It's exactly where you want to be.
Back to the top of the order. The top first 5 batters have been very productive all season. And when I say all season, the first 2 games. But Cameron Frost had an infield single in the 1st, was hit by a pitch in the 3rd, and grounded out to 3rd in the 6th. He's got a runner in scoring position with 1 away. Pitch is a called strike. Paul Panachone with a double. He's had a good number of extra base hits in these first 2 games. Pitch inside to Frost. Had a double on Monday. Excuse me, a double on Monday and a double today. Called strike 1 and 2 to Cameron Frost. Dane Wunderlich waits on deck. 1 run, 4 hits. 2 errors for the Miners. Pitch. Our grounder to third. Gobbled up by Arndt. Throws across the diamond for out number 2. No movement for Panachone at second base, and then I'll bring up Wunderlich. Wunderlich was our player of the game on Sunday against the Chinooks. Rough day on Monday, was 0 for 5. And he's 0 for 3 tonight. He was the first strikeout in the 6th for Lance Phillips. Called strike on the outside black. A 1 coming from Armstrong. Swing and a miss by Wunderlich. That's something that I haven't seen much from the minor hitters. Not a lot of swing and misses.
And big swings and misses like that.
Yeah. Going for the fences. Trying to get that runner in from second base. Pitch is fouled off. 0-2.
Well, we did talk to all the guys before the season started on Sunday, and most of them said that they weren't power hitters. They were wanting to focus more on their gap-to-gap hitting, just over the infield, looking for those open spots in the outfield. So that might be one of the reasons of why we don't see a lot of these big swings, guys looking to go hit it out of here.
0-2 to Wunderlich was outside. 1-2. Tyler Stubblefield, left-hander from Texas A&M, just made his way back from the bullpen. 1-2 inside, but it's called strike 3. I don't think Wunderlich likes the call at all. I thought it was very inside, but
I thought it was too.
That's a call at strike 3, and that'll end the inning. To the 9th we go. Tyler Stubblefield will be on the mound, the left-hander from Texas A&M, when we return on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. 9-1 Chinooks.
And welcome back, everybody, to Herman Brothers Field. Now on the mound for the Miners is the Texas A&M Aggie, Tyler Stubblefield. And to bat is A.J. Durr, a right-handed batter. First pitch by Stubblefield is a ball. I guess it was inside. The left-handed pitcher, outside for ball 2.
Tyler Stubblefield just finished his freshman year at Texas A&M, 6'5", 210 pounds.
And this pitch is in the dirt for ball 3.
He pitched in the regionals on June 1st against Texas, the Longhorns. Got the win, 9 innings, a complete game, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 walks, 9 strikeouts, 134 pitches.
Now battling his way back from being down a 3-0 count. He throws a strike. And of course, pitcher Mitchell now is also an Aggie. And that's strike 2. So great job by the 2 Aggies out there on the field. Now full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Top of this 9th inning. And that's a little inside for ball 4. As A.J. Durr takes his place at first base, brings up Brett Collins.
That is the 10th walk given up by Miners pitching. That's been the challenge. That's been the problem.
They've been getting to on base very easily. First pitch is a strike.
Last call for player of the game. Tweet at us at ABL Miners or send us an email. Matsu Miners Broadcast at gmail.com. Again, that's Matsu Miners Broadcast at gmail.com.
1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Foul back to third base side. A.J. Durr at first base with a little bit of a lead. It's a pitch over the head of Collins. Collins ducks down and now is able to catch it over his head. Oh, so that would have been a nasty hit by a pitch situation.
Yeah, that really just kind of all over the place.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes, and it's foul tip back. With runners still on first base, the Miners trail 9-1. The top of this 9th. Chinooks have 11 hits. Miners, on the other hand, only have 4. Swung on, grounder to third baseman Jordan Rogers, to second base Conley, and not able to make the throw at first in time, but they do put 1 away. They send A.J. Durr back to the Chinooks dugout. Brett Collins able to reach first. And that brings up Kyle Conkle.
Now batting the DH number 34, Nick Cavello.
Scratch that, that's Nick Cavello. So that leaves a runner on first base. And Brett Collins. Here's the first pitch. It's a ball. We have a lefty versus lefty situation now. The 1-0 pitch. Strike. Pitch low and outside for ball 2. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Still in the top of the 9th here in Palmer, Alaska.
Fans still here. Not going anywhere despite the score.
Pitch a little inside, ball 3. Pitch way inside for ball 4 for Stubblefield.
Now batting third baseman number 9, Billy Arndt.
Second walk given up by Stubblefield.
That moves Collins to second base, so runners on first and second. Brings up Billy Arndt. Foul back right towards us for strike 1. Arndt was struck out in the first inning, had a single in the second, and had flyouts to both center and right field in the 4th and 7th innings, respectively, and was also walked in the 6th. The pitch, another high foul ball, back behind the press box where we are at. Probably got pretty close to those delicious hot dogs and hamburgers.
They were good.
So now, 2 foul balls in a row. And Arndt takes this as ball 1. 2 strikes now. So Stubblefield still up in the count. The 1-2 pitch. High and outside, ball 2.
Stubblefield's thrown 20 pitches.
2-2 pitch. Another foul ball back behind the first base side this time.
That's actually 22 pitches, 12 of them for balls. Would love a double play ball here.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Swung on directly to the glove of Hunter Simmons at first, and he's able to make the double play and tag Collins out. Cavello, excuse me, out at first, who he was trying to tag up at first again. So the Miners able to escape the top of the 9th inning without giving up any runs. And we head to the bottom of the 9th. And will we see a rally in the valley? The Miners down 9-1 behind the Chinooks. You are listening to Miners Radio Network.
Those same pilots will be here Saturday evening for Matt Valley Federal Credit Union Day at the park, 7 o'clock. Again, home game, last preseason game tomorrow. Lake Erie Monarchs here in town, 7 o'clock. Then the season opens for real on Friday.
back here in the beautiful Palmer, Alaska. We're to the bottom of the 9th inning, hoping for a rally in the valley as Nick Sinzel of the University of Tennessee steps up to the plate. The Miners are trailing the Chinooks right now, 9-1. And also a new pitcher on the mound. That is Zach Freeman.
Freeman from New Mexico State just finished his sophomore year. Pitched on Sunday against the Miners, an inning and a third, a hit, no runs, no walks, no Ks.
This pitch is down in the dirt for ball 2 to Sinzel. Sinzel in the designated hitter spot tonight. Had a single in the first, flew out to center field in the third, and was walked in the 6th, but left on. The 2-0 pitch, outside for ball 3.
Miners trail 9-1. Will we have a rally in the valley?
I don't know. We had a rally in Chugiak.
Yeah, 8 runs is tough.
8 runs is, but they did score 5.
Anything is possible.
And now Sinzel is walked. So the Miners wanting to load up the bases.
Now batting your first baseman, number 20, Hunter Simmons.
So it brings up Hunter Simmons, first baseman. He grounded out to second in the first inning. Grounded out to the first baseman in the 4th and was struck out in the 6th. So 0 for 3, but defensively, he's been doing great.
Yeah, I mean, 2 plays in the same inning, actually.
Right. With catching those foul balls in the gravel.
Yeah, against the fence. And Freeman's thrown 6 straight balls. Can't find the strike zone. He's going to
There it
be
goes.
quiet.
Well, he finds a strike zone on that one. 2 balls, 1 strike to Simmons. Two on pitch. A little low for ball 3. So this patient batting by Hunter Simmons might put him on base finally in this 9th inning. Pitch, foul back for strike 2. There is still time to put in your player of the game nominations. Twitter or email or in the comments. Comments is probably the easiest. You know, you just scroll down a little bit. Send us a quick note. Oh, and that is strike 3 for Hunter Simmons. I think he thought that was a ball. And that sends him back to the dugout. For the first out at the bottom of the 9th, brings up Brandon Smith, the left fielder. He was struck out in the first, had a fly out to the right field in the 4th, and was thrown. He had a single in the 7th, got him to first base, but he kept running to second. First pitch is high for ball 1. So he made it safely to first off of his hit, but kept running to second and was thrown out at second. But he is still credited with the hit. Freeman checks Sinzel at first. Sinzel looks like he's going to actually go. Said Brandon Smith takes the strike and Sinzel heads back to the first base bag.
Miners are back at it tomorrow night back here at Herman Brothers Field at 7 o'clock against the Lake Erie Monarchs. Not a part of the Alaska Baseball League. It is a non-league game.
This pitch is low and outside for ball 2.
So be with us at 6:45 for the Matsu Miners pregame show brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Get you ready for anything you need to know heading into that game. We'll have a recap of this one.
2-1 pitch, low for ball 3.
And also stay with us for the Matsu Miners post-game show after tonight's game, also presented by Napa Auto Parts. Here from our player of the game, and hope to hear from manager Ben Taylor in Taylor's Take. But still work to do on the field.
Big swing by Brandon Smith for strike 2.
Game is not over.
It's now 2 batters in a row with full counts. Senzel was struck out with 4 straight balls, and Simmons and Smith now have had full counts. Both instances, Freeman coming down. It's just a ground ball up the third base side, and Billy Arndt, the third baseman, it rolls up his arm and behind him. So Senzel is able to get the second, and Smith takes first. Lucky break there by the Miners with 2 men on. Brings up Jordan Rogers, the third baseman. He had a great night last night, or 2 nights ago, excuse me, was our player of the game, but has grounded out in the 2nd and 4th innings and was tagged out at first in the 7th. So he's been able to, connect with the bat, connect with the ball, just hasn't been able to reach base. His first pitch is a strike. So we have a Tennessee Volunteer on second and a Tennessee Volunteer at the plate.
There are a lot of Tennessee players for the Miners.
It's a foul ball. Now Rogers finds himself down in the count, 0-2.
Terrence Connolly waits on deck. Will he have a plate appearance?
Another foul ball by Rogers. Fans still cheering on the Miners. It's always great to hear the fans sticking around. 9:45 Alaska time.
And you see it there. It's still light out. You don't really need lights at a field in the Alaska Baseball League.
There are literally no lights out here. No stadium lights.
There are no lights at Herman Brothers.
As Jordan Rogers takes that pitch inside, very inside for ball 1. It almost looked like it hit him on his elbow or arm. So 1-2 pitch, and this one it hits him in the back. That one stung a little bit. He's heading down to first base.
Now batting your second baseman, number 26.
The Miners now have loaded the bases. That brings up Terrence Connolly. Only 1 out for the bottom of the 9th.
Mitchell now on deck. He's got a lot of power. So if Connolly can do some damage to get now to the plate, we could have an exciting game. But 9-1 Chinooks in the 9th.
Senzel on third, Smith on second, Rogers at first, and Conley. First pitch is a hit up the right field, and Senzel scores, and all the other Miners stay at their bases, and the bases are still loaded with 1 run scored.
Excellent piece of hitting for Terrence Connolly. Found that gap between the second baseman and the first baseman. That keeps the bases loaded with a run in. 9-2 Chinooks for Mitchell now. And in the 8th, he hit a ball that I thought had a real good chance to get out.
I've also been noticing that now, I don't know if I'll have to ask, but first pitch on the high outside corner for strike 1. Have to check with Ben Taylor, but it seems to me that he's been practicing hitting them down the third base line. He's been doing that a lot in batting practice. This one's high and very inside for ball 1. Doing a lot in batting practice with a lot of power, like you said. So if he can blast one of those, not even, keep it within the park, just right down the third base line, you get about 2 runs scored. Smith is on third and Rogers at second. Both very quick players. And this one's down the third baseline to third baseman Billy Arndt. And it goes over the head of second baseman Rourke into right field. And the hit down the third base line by Mitchell now scores in 2 runs. And Rogers heads into third, and we have runners on the corners and 3 runs so far scored in this bottom of the 9th inning. So we might see a rally in the Valley yet. Miners trail 9-4. And the Chinooks having a little meeting out there on the pitcher's mound.
Now batting for your Miners, your shortstop number 3, Paul Panachone.
Brings up Paul Panachone, the shortstop tonight. He grounded to third in the 2nd, had a fly out to first base in the 5th, but in the 8th inning, he had a double. So, Paul Panachone, the last inning, had a good hit. Still only 1 out as Panachone takes first pitch as a ball. And Connolly out of UNC Wilmington at third. And this pitch by Zach Freeman is very outside. Mark Lindsay had to really reach for it, the catcher for the Chinooks. And if that would have gone behind him to the backstop, Conley might have scored. So it's in for strike number 1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Still only 1 out for the Miners, so they're still in great position.
And 3 runs in. It's a 9th inning rally team.
And that's inside for ball 3.
We got a visitor in the booth.
3 balls, 1 strike to Panachone. Here's the pitch. Swung on, grounder to short. Altman scoops it up. Quick pass to second. Goes to first. Doesn't make the throw in time. And Panachone is safe at first, and Mitchell now out at second. And Conley able to make it safely at home. So now it's a 9-5 game. Chinooks still lead. 2 outs, though, for the Miners, but we're back to the top of the order with Cameron Frost.
Now batting your center fielder number 22, Cameron Frost.
Cameron Frost in the first inning had a single, but was thrown out at second. He was caught stealing in the third after he was hit by a pitch. First pitch is a high fly ball back to center field. Pollock's going back and catches it. And that's a game. Chinooks beat the Miners 9-5 in 9 innings.
And that's the ball game, ladies and gentlemen. A reminder again, tomorrow
And do we have a player of the game?
I think we do, and we'll reveal that when we come back for the Matsu Miners postgame show brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Once again, the final score, the Chinooks beat the Matsu Miners by a final score of 9-5. We'll be right back. Back here on the Matsu Miners postgame show, brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. The final score, the Miners fall to the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks 9-5. We're joined now by manager Ben Taylor in Taylor's Take. Coach, a little bit of a rough one. It was the pitching, but what do you think you saw?
Oh, we didn't throw a lot of strikes tonight. I mean, that's kind of obvious, but it's preseason. We've got 2 guys left to get mound time, so it's fine.
What about the hitting?
That kind of started earlier in the day. There's some things that approach-wise and how we approach our day as ball players that need to get cleaned up a little bit, but that's why we're here.
And another kind of ninth inning rally. You know, we saw in the first game 5-run ninth inning, and now the bottom of the ninth, and they scored 4 runs.
Yeah, it's good players know how to turn it on, and they're good players, and they turn it on. It's just hopefully we can turn it on a little earlier.
The Monarchs tomorrow, what do you know about them?
Absolutely nothing. I know nothing. You know
Nothing.
more than I do.
Well, what do you? Who gets the ball tomorrow?
Hayden Howard.
Okay. What are you looking to get out of him?
Tomorrow's a regular start, so he's got to go 85. He's got to go 85 pitches, and get us 6-7 innings.
3 innings, 60 pitches. It's over for now.
That's long gone now.
Long gone.
It's time to go.
And we were talking about the types of hits that we were seeing power, but more of the gap-to-gap, finding those holes in the outfield. We talked to a lot of the players, all of the players, before the season, this preseason series, and they said they were working on the gap-to-gap hitting. Who are the players who have kind of stuck out with putting the extra time in to get out of that?
It's nice. A bunch of guys, we get rained out yesterday. A bunch of guys came and stayed. We hit, and Cameron Frost has done a fantastic job. He's been driving baseballs. Conley was fantastic today. There were some really good things that may get lost in the shuffle with today. Conley, he's been working very hard. He was out early today. I think he gets a 2-hit night, barrels up 3 or 4 balls. Boyer threw the ball well. Josh Morris threw the ball well. Morris gives up 1 run and a leadoff walk, so it's a run he should have given up. Wiggled out of a couple of jams. So there are some positive things we can take from tonight.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That is manager Ben Taylor with Taylor's Take.
Yeah.
He's very happy that this was live. You get a smile out of him as he walks out. All right, again, the final score: the Miners fall to the Chinooks 9-5, and tomorrow I'll be back at it against the Lake Erie Monarchs in a non-league game. But as you heard, Hayden Howard gets the ball. He's from Texas A&M. He'll be out there, and there will be no limit. Looking to get 85 out of him. He pitched against the Chinooks, actually, on Sunday and pitched very, very well. I mean, 3 innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. We've talked about him. He's a guy who doesn't throw very hard, but his command is fantastic, and that's what led him to success.
That's right, and he works very quickly also, and he came into that Chinooks game and just did work. He threw just beautiful pitches. Like you said, they're not very fast, but they're the kind of pitches where you look at them and go, that's a good throw. And it was just one right after another. Just great command with this kid. He's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, I compared him to Koji Uehara, the closer for the Red Sox. Doesn't throw hard.
Right.
His command and his pitches are just so good that he just finds ways to really get outs, and he's done very well with the Red Sox, and I'm excited to watch Howard pitch. I mean, I'll admit, I'm very excited to watch him. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and say, oh, great, get to watch Hayden Howard pitch. We'll see what happens. We don't know much about the Lake Erie Monarchs. They're not a member of the Alaska Baseball League, but we'll be ready to go, and I think we're gonna miss our player of the game. I don't think he's gonna make it up here, but it is John Boyer. It was a tough one to find in this one, but Boyer really came out 2 2/3, 2 hits, no walks, no runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. And as you heard it from Ben Taylor, another player we were considering was Josh Morris, 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. But Boyer just really came in, and it's kind of a nice homecoming for him. Had a good performance out there, and got to be happy for him. The Wasilla kid, the local kid,
Yeah, the
pitching
local
well.
boy. The local boy.
He's pitching well. So once again, the final score from Herman Brothers Field, the Miners fall to the Chinooks 9-5. For Emmett Tiedemann, I'm Austin Pollock, saying so long until tomorrow night when the Miners host the Chinooks. The Miners host the Lake Erie Monarchs. Join us at 6:45 for the Matsu Miners pregame show, brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. And be with us at 7 o'clock for first pitch. Hayden Howard takes the ball for the Miners. Once again, the final score. The Miners fall to the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks 9-5.